G'day punters, welcome to a huge Everest set. Myself, Dean Watling, we're going to take you through all 12 runners of the Everest. Welcome, Dino.
Gano, it's good to be here. Big race, competitive speed map, and might not have the class this year, the Everest, but it definitely is a great betting race. So keen to dissect it with you.
Yeah, it looks like the best version of the race I've seen so far, the most competitive one. You've got I Wish I Win, $5.50 favourite now on the Drift. Private Eye, $6. Think about it, $4.40. Pretty congested at the top of the market there. Marzu 51s, see you later, out the door. Overpass, I think they opened about $8.50, now $10. So nice early support after the barrier draw. It's back out the door a little bit. Be honest, not just $12. Hawaii 5.0, 13s, alcohol-free 41s, In Secret 12s, Espiona 15, Shinzo 15, Cylinder $8.50. Off the top, any of those odds sort of get your bit of excited, Dino?
I think the one now, which is, I guess it's drifted because of obviously the barrier, but I Wish I Win out to $5.50. It was favourite all in prior to the barrier draw. I think that's a touch overreaction, Gano. Ooh. I think that's the one that I probably didn't want to be all in, but now it's starting to get out to a juicy price. And we know it's not a popularity contest.
Yep.
We're punters. We want to find the market, and that's all we talk about is the odds. I think the one that's probably too short and has to get out is Cylinder for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. Let's have a look at the speed map here. So you did mention I Wish I Win. Luke will just tip over the speed map for us. That'll be fantastic. And basically here, we've got I Wish I Win drawn 1. Let's just chat about him first. So there's a lot of sentiment early doors from Moody that I Wish I Win was going to be disadvantaged by barrier 1. Then you hear plenty of good judges come out and say, well, it's a great place to be. It's better than 12. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he'll probably land in the coffin. Not the coffin. He probably won't land one pair back, probably 2 or 3 pairs back, which it's hard to have an opinion on pre-race. I think post the race or in the run, if he gets the splits, it's a great gate. But looking at it from the outset, do you want barrier 9 or do you want barrier 1? I'd take barrier 9 any day of the week. You're going to get to the outside. We know how this Randwick track especially plays on these big days. So I think it's a negative, but I don't think it's the end of the world. If you had to weigh it up, do you want barrier 12 In Secret or barrier 1 with I Wish I Win? I'd suggest the Moody camp would take barrier 1, Gano.
Yeah, I'd take barrier 12. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I think they're going to have to be nice and aggressive early, which will be interesting to see off the preparation that the horse has had. This is obviously, effectively his second up. It's obviously been doing a whole lot of work at home. There's no doubt about that. And the references have been, what about that, from barrier 1 last start down at Caulfield there. It was really impressive, was able to sit closer well. Different gravy this time around, but it'll be really interesting to see what unfolds there. But I still think I Wish I Win is a negative from that barrier draw there. Overpass is going to go forward. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Joshy Parr, for mine, if he rates this to a T, he wins the race. The way that the track's going to be playing, I'd say it'd be a good 3 by late Saturday afternoon. And if it's, all the cards are sort of with Joshy at the moment, who is the horse or who is the jockey, perhaps? There's plenty of horses here that can sort of sit on speed. But who's the jockey that's going to be the most aggressive and push the button to take on Joshy Parr and Overpass? Or will no one take on Overpass? Yeah,
it's a good question. I think Zach Lloyd, he'll definitely be positive. Blinkers go on Cylinder, which is an interesting move by the stable. I think he'll camp leaders back and put a little bit of pressure, but I don't think the jockeys, James McDonald and Craig Williams, are aboard, alcohol-free, and Hawaii 5.0, Waterhouse pair. I think Gay would be filthy with them if they didn't push the button and put a little bit of pressure and then they saw Overpass lead all the way. I think Gay and Adrian probably be not the best in the jockeys room post-race. So I think we'll see Hawaii 5.0. He is tactically versatile, so he can go back and can go forward. Maybe we saw the best of him last start off the speed, but I'd suggest he rolls forward and sits outside the leader and puts a little bit of pressure on. Maybe they send alcohol-free forward and then give Hawaii 5.0 a lovely sitting behind, but I think they're the 2 speed horses outside of Overpass, Gano. But
yeah, that makes the most sense to me. Overpass leading, Cylinder outside leader, and then you've got alcohol-free and Hawaii 5.0 sort of coming across there. But it'd be interesting because you're going to have Nolan on I Wish I Win wanting to hold a spot, but whether or not it can, well, that's the question. Righto, let's go through the runners. We'll go back to over the page and we'll have a look at, we'll go through I Wish I Win. We've already touched on him, Dino, but how does I Wish I Win this race?
I think he needs a little bit of luck, and I think he needs a field to string out and come between horses. I think his map's the only query. His form on paper, I think he's the best horse in the race. He obviously beat up Giga Kick in the TJ Smith this year on a wet deck coming from last. If you go back and watch that replay, it was phenomenal. He's got a great set up the Golden Eagle last year, so I know he handles the Sydney way of going. I think he just needs luck in transit, and that's the gamble on Saturday. And like I was saying before, with the odds, you want a fairly good price to gamble on him getting sort of those splits, and I think we are getting that pretty well late. But I think that's I Wish I Win.
Yeah.
Summarised.
So I had I Wish I Win with a career peak here of 107, and a repeat of that would win this race quite easily. But then you've got to obviously the negatives are the barrier. The negatives are that came on a heavy track. Now it's a dry track. So I think he's got a task ahead. But getting out to 550, you might get closer to $6 come jump time. All of a sudden, you're getting closer to that price you need. Private Eye, can he sit more forward in the run? I'd suggest so. If he does, can he win?
I think he can win. Yep. I think you've summed it up really well. I think if he goes back from gate 9 and likes to run on with your Buenos Noches in secret, I don't think he's got a superior turn of foot. I think he's got a good turn of foot and similar to them, but I think his advantage to in secret and Buenos Noches is his tactical versatility. So I love the setup here. He was brilliant first up. He's a great fresh horse. But where do you see him from gate 9?
I have no idea. It's probably the one horse that's graded me up a little bit. I thought the race shape could potentially be against, but with Natural Wheeler aboard, it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens with alcohol free and how aggressive they are there. Yeah. If they're not aggressive there, that'll probably give Nash the opportunity to. But if they're aggressive alcohol free, they're aggressive Hawaii 5-0, all of a sudden Nash has got a really big decision to make. So it'll be really interesting to see how that unfolds. That's the big grey area for me, what Nash is going to do from there. But just knowing how he rides, he's probably going to be aggressive early and then see the first 100 metres and then see what happens. Interesting that we talked about Cylinder. We'll get to that. Blinkers on first time. There's a horse that's going to roll forward. What happens if Cylinder misses the kick with the blinkers on first time, which we do see happen quite a bit? Yeah,
I think that will definitely help I Wish I Win. I think he'd probably be the one that beneficiary, or is the beneficiary of that, and can settle that maybe pair closer. But that's why I was saying it is a bit of a strange move to put the blinkers on. How much you're going to get out of it, and often we see, like you said, that the horses do backfire that first start and they can miss it. So.
Interesting to see. Interesting to see how that unfolds for Jimmy Cummings and Godolphin. We have Think About It next up at $4.40 favourite at the moment. And look, this horse is 110 from 11. Is a horse that we were, both of us were probably against last preparation. But look, he's probably got to run a career peak to get the job done here. But he's got a ceiling that we haven't seen yet, and he just keeps on improving. Map's an absolute treat. Sits probably, midfield, just forward of midfield, and does no work early. Is he the deserved favourite for you? Yeah,
I think so. I think map-wise has to be in any single exotics for that reason. I think he's an outstanding chance, and I think the gate's the biggest tick for him. I think the question I wanted to ask you, Gunnar, was this is the only time of his life that he stayed at 1,200 metres second up. 12 weeks between runs. We know he's a horse who can get 1,400, 1,600 metres. Do you think he could potentially be flat second up staying at 12, or do you think Joe's just a master?
Yeah, I just think Joe, just trust Joe to get it right. Potentially, yes, but I just got to trust in Joe to get it right. That's the way we're going to go. Marzu, not much to say about him other than just click it up, Luke, leave it up there for us. Just like, yep, perfect, thank you. Look, had an interrupted preparation. It's been difficult. Arrives here first up, draws a horrible gate. Do you give him any chance of running a place at all?
I don't. I think big races, high pressure, there's nowhere to hide, and with that little setback, he's had a trial, yes, but I think he's been below average this sort of preparation, and I think his market price is where he should be in the market.
Yep, spot on. I had him marked a bit longer than 51s, but best of luck to the team there. Hope they have a good day out. Overpass here, drawn barrier 2, Joshy Parr. We've chatted on this horse. I'll give you my thoughts nice and quick. $10 is overs. $3 a place is fantastic bet. Horse is going to go forward, dictate. It's going to be on a good track. It's going to be advantageous to be in front on the day. Career peak came second up last preparation after, when he went to Brisbane, after he won the Quokka. Same setup again. Well done, Bjorn. Hats off to you. You've nailed it so far. Now it's up to Josh Parr to get the job done. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's best when he's fresh, and I love that profile here. He was great first up, just got nailed by a Private Eye late. He's going to get the run of the race. The query with him for me is that Josh Parr's going to have to rate him perfectly. He doesn't go too slow. I don't think he has a turn of foot out sprint these, but he's going to have to go quick enough that he gets those back markers out of their comfort zone. So I think he's a ripping chance. He's another one that you have to throw on the exotics just purely on the map. But you've been on him early, Gunnar. I know you really like him, and I can't turn away from him. I think he's Bjorn's done a great job, and I love this tick over trial. I think that's the biggest tick for me leading into the Everest.
A horse here that probably doesn't have the runs on the board yet, but does have plenty of upside and will need to go to a career peak to win the race, Buenos Noches, but definitely can.
Yep.
Been really, really impressive this preparation. Getting around $12. The map, obvious query, you've got your apprentice Dylan Gibbons, who's a rising star, but this is now welcome to A-grade stuff for Dylan. What are your thoughts on Buenos Noches?
I think if they turn it into a sit and sprint, I think he's got one of the best, if not the best, turn of foots in the race. I think he was as good, if not better than Private Eye in the shorts. He just had absolutely no luck. So that's what I was speaking on before. If Private Eye, he doesn't want to turn it into sit and sprint. He wants to have that tactical advantage, but you summed that up well. The gates, the massive query. I had him map probably last the rails. Lacks that tactical speed, which is maybe going to come down and hurt him here.
Yeah, been interesting to see how Dylan goes from there, and obviously the pace of the race is everything. So race shapes everything for Buenos Noches.
Yep.
Hawaii 5-0, you got J-Mac, barrier 10. Wow, just jumped out of the ground. Improved significantly, nearly 2 lengths from his first up run. Gay and Adrian are low flying. You've now got probably the best trainer strike rate in the country at the moment.
Definitely.
They're in form, and then you've got the best jockey potentially in the world, but if not, definitely Australia, lining up aboard this horse. What a combination. You're getting $13 and $3.80. If he goes to another level again, he could win this race.
Definitely. I think he maybe caught us all by surprise. I didn't expect the progression that he did last start, but he was phenomenal when they do progress their horses second up, Waterhouse and Bott, and again third up. So I think you could add some natural progression again there, fitness-wise. His map looks great. The only slight query for me is that did we maybe discover last start that he's a better horse ridden with a sit, and maybe he's taken away from his sprint up on speed. But the slowish, or not slowish, the average to solid tempo helps him here, and I think he's a definite chance off what he did last start for sure.
Yeah, gut-wrenching he didn't get the job done last start. It's by Pimple. But anyway, that's the way the game goes. Another horse that will definitely jump out of the ground and I think's been disrespected in the market is Alcohol Free. This horse has, let me go to my notes here, something like 4 ratings over 100, 103, 102, 103. She's a superstar. She's yet to show her best in Australia.
Yep.
But if she shows the same improvement Hawaii 5-0 showed last start and improves 2, maybe potentially 3, she's not without a chance of running a place. I don't think she can probably win the race.
No.
But barrier 7, Craig Williams, she's going to sit in that nice position there, and if she gets the race shape right, $13 or $10 a place looks a value to me.
Yeah, well, she's another horse that maybe isn't the best horse in the race, but you look at the map, the setup, second up for Waterhouse and Bott, their strike rate's phenomenal, and like you referenced with Hawaii 5-0's progression, if we can see similar to that, where she's going to be in the run, she can't run a bad race, and I think the way they offset her, probably 1200's not her best distance, probably 14, but the way you offset that is you roll forward and settle up on speed. So I agree. I think she's maybe the best roughie in the race, you could potentially say.
Yep, love it. In secret, geez, had a drawn barrier 4. Probably starts a lot shorter. You're getting a price now, and you're getting, well, I mentioned best jockey in the world, arguably the man that's going head-to-head with him in Australasia. Anyway, Zach Purton aboard. Can Zach overcome barrier 12, and how does he overcome barrier 12?
I think the way he overcomes barrier 12 is he sits there and prays that Marzu holds a 3-wide line and he can track into the race with that 3-wide line. I think that's the only way he can win, or she can win this race, and Zach can get the job done. I think if she's going to go back to last and have no 3-wide line to outsprint some of these horses in the race, you've got to be up against it.
Absolutely. So what's the right price now based on predicted race shape and for In Secret? I had it marked closer to $20.
Yeah, interesting. A move overnight. We saw, I think she was 16s into sort of 11s, pushed back out now, but I can't see her being a firmer on the day, bar Zach Purton being in the saddle.
Yep, love it. Then go down to number 10, Espiono, a horse that draws barrier 3. A lot of people saying that that's a bad draw for it. I think it's absolutely fantastic for her. I think she's going to get cover. She's going to be saved up probably to the 300 metre mark, do absolutely nothing in the run. If she's within 3 lengths of them, she can make up plenty of ground because she has an explosive turn of foot, and I think she gets Huey Bowman, who's the perfect rider for her. She's one that needs to be included in your first 4s if you're playing that way, Dino.
Yeah, well, she's shown a little bit of tactical speed the last 2 starts, which is definitely key for the barrier, and I think you make a really good point with Hugh Bowman going in the saddle. I think he's the perfect jockey, soft hands, She's a horse who travels up, and she's got a couple of sort of issues when she wants to lay in, lay out. So I think being on the rails and on the inside could be good for her. The issue sort of for mine is that if I Wish I Win and Cylinder all punch up and hold a spot, she could potentially be further back than she wants. But that explosive turn of foot gets you out of trouble and in sticky situations, which she does have.
I think the advantage for her being in barrier 3 is Huey can ride her as he feels comfortable.
Yep.
And if they come across, then all they're doing is injecting speed into the race, which will suit her. If they don't, then she's just going to sit closer anyway. So that's the advantage of that low draw for Huey, and she'll find cover. I think she's fantastic. Probably $15 is probably a little bit short now. Hopefully you might get a bit of a drift later in the day, but another one, at that $4.20 place mark that needs to be thrown in your exotics. Shinzo, a horse that, has been, they've been raving about at the stable. They think is absolutely flying. We spoke to Tommy Berry a couple of weeks ago. He said there's only one horse he wanted to be on, and that was Shinzo. And then he came out and was less than convincing in the Golden Rose. 2 of 5 lame. There's rumours going around. The horse isn't going as good as it thought, but then the stable's saying it's flying. Was that about 26, and I think it saw 51 at some stage, then back into 26 now into 15s. Horse must be going okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the 3-year-olds obviously have that outstanding record. Giga Kick, yes. We've seen a couple of horses, but you got to weigh up, and I think Giga Kick's turned out to be an absolute superstar. Yes. That year of 3-year-olds, they were phenomenal. Bivouac, Exceedance. Is this year 3-year-olds up to that? I'm not sure. I think you got to, if you do back him, I think you take him on trust, but I can't get anywhere near the $15 price that we're getting currently. I think you got to get a lot more than that to take the risk.
Yep.
I think he's up against it. High pressure race. He failed first up, but yeah, I'm against him.
It wouldn't surprise. He's got a career peak that gets him close. Obviously coming from the Golden Slipper. It wouldn't surprise to see him jump out of the ground again. He jumped out of the ground that day. That was a significant spike in his ratings. So it wouldn't surprise, but we're trying to work out our most likely outcomes here. Our most likely outcome is not that Shinzo jumps out of the ground after what we saw first up. Cylinder there, barrier 4, Zach Lloyd. Well, that's ideal for it. Around $8.50, being very well supported. What are your thoughts on Cylinder, mate?
I've been against the 3-year-old, especially in the sprinting ranks this spring. I just don't think they're up to the calibre of sort of last spring and the spring you need to be in, or the form you need to be in to win an Everest. Yes, they get 53 kilos, but you have to be a horse to still win this race. Yep. So I think he's way too short in the market. Blinkers go on. That tells me that they're trying to find a length or two because they know he's probably not up to that. So I think he's the one in the market we can really get out. $8.50, I think that's poison odds. I'd much prefer to take an Espiona and a Hawaii 5-0 or Buenos Noches over Cylinder. I think he's just purely banked there and sitting there because of his weight,
So I marked him up just because of the barrier, and I've improved him half a length, and even then I still got him marked close to $14.
Yep.
So at that $8.50, it just doesn't represent any value for me whatsoever. Righto, let's wrap it up. Best of the emergencies if they get a run. Bella, Nipotina, Zapateo, King of Sparta, Volana. Would you consider any of those if they manage to find their way into the race?
Probably not. I think the one would have to be Bella Nipotina. She has form around all of these Everest horses, but obviously they'll go around in the Sydney Stakes, and hopefully for the slot owners and the owners of all these horses that we don't have any issues pre-race and they all line up.
Righto, I'll give you a quick summary of my thoughts. So working off a baseline of 104 rating, there's only 6 horses in the field that have achieved that mark under the following criteria: 1,200, 1,300 metres, good tracks, or soft 5, right? Those 6 horses are Overpass, Alcohol Free, Private Eye, Shinzo, In Secret, Espiona. Of those, Overpass, Private Eye, and In Secret are the only ones that have done a rating close to that this preparation. So for me, I'm going to make it real simple. Think about it on top. Just sit just off Overpass and put it away late. Overpass to finish a nice second there, tidy little place collect, and Private Eye will be there or thereabouts. Just needs that race shape to go its way. And if you're looking for horses to fill exotics at big price, Espiona, Alcohol Free, and Hawaii 5-0 are probably the ones I think that can fill those places. And look, no knock on I Wish I Win. There's absolutely no doubt he's got the career peak here to win this race. But back on a good track, inside gate, he's just going to need a whole lot of luck.
Yep.
And look, there's plenty of races to bet on throughout the day and every day. And sometimes you just got to let some favourites or some well-rated runners go through to the keeper. This time I will let I Wish I Win go to the keeper, but if he wins, it'll be a spectacle, and I can't wait to watch. What are your give me a top 4 for the Everest?
Yeah, I was firmly in Private Eye's court all in. Doing the speed map last night, though, I don't think I can go against Think About It on top. I think the way he maps, the progression he probably has second up, he's just a winner. And from that gate, jockey, setup, everything like that, I think he's going to be incredibly hard to beat. I Wish I Win with the market move now. I put I Wish I In for second. I think obviously needs luck, but I think we're getting a fair enough price now to take that. Obviously, he's going to have to come off the fence, get to the outside, but if he does get clear running, he's got the best turn of foot from up on speed for me. In for third, Private Eye. Probably needs a little bit of luck from the gate, but we know he's got a lovely turn of foot. I love the freshen. And then in for fourth, you have to have the on-speed horse. Overpass has to go in there. So
let's just hope he lobs third, Dino.
Yes, yeah, for you.
Hey, punters, make sure you go hit the subscribe button. There's more than this just coming hot for you today. We'll catch up with David Gator later on this afternoon, talk all things the Everest with him. Dino, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Gannon, and good luck to all the punters.